They thought peace had outrun inertia, until something older than stars began singing from the void. Humanity sent science, not soldiers, and met a choir that turned laws into bridges and certainty into fuel. When warships shattered and stories stabilized space, Earth chose harmony over control. But when the Guardians themselves stepped aside, it was up to us to become stewards of balance in a universe built on questions. Now, the stars belong to those who remember that wonder is responsibility in disguise. Stay with us to find out how the story ends, and don't forget to subscribe. The third year after the quiet revolt began with soft meteor rain that streaked across every hemisphere of Carthus Prime. Children pressed palms to windows and traced the tales of light. Their laughter rebroadcast through Dawnpath, so cousins on distant moons could echo wonder in real time. In those hours, the galaxy felt healed. Food corridors thrived. Scholastic exchanges leapt between species once segregated by tariffs, and not a single pirate transponder blipped the cooperative watchgrid for 93 consecutive days. The observatories of balance logged the longest stable harmonic since Lumwarden came online. Admiral Emeritus Saran Val, now civilian director of Anchorlight, recorded a jubilant line in her open diary. Maybe peace has outrun inertia. But inertia, like gravity, never collapses. It waits behind the orbit of complacency. The warning arrived not from sleepers or shard echoes, but from a meteorologist on ruddy Talisort, a mining sphere newly seeded with beacon-rise pylons. He was charting ion tides for weather balloons when his instruments captured a groan in subspace, a standing note of negative resonance that null arrays labeled P-mode 0. The meteorologist forwarded the log to Regional Net with a thoughtless tag, sounds like a whale crying, then returned to barometric uploads. Yet within an hour, pattern miners flagged anomaly. 12 more outposts reported identical groans, spaced equidistant across spiral arm, frequencies phasing in perfect hexameter. The chorus pointed to deep intergalactic dark, far beyond sleeper patrols. Anchorlight assembled an emergency roundtable. Val, Commander Tavian Estel, Lieutenant Rhea Varson, linguist Jarn Torin, Dr. Saya Loxat, and Shard Garden biophysicist Amara Quell examined stacked spectrograms. Quell's brows knitted. These aren't shard signatures. They swallow too much high-order entropy. Something older, maybe hungrier. She overlaid historic cosmograph surveys. The pattern matched faint echoes recorded by the ancient Keln expedition at Edgevoid centuries prior. In their logs, the Keln named the source the Abyssal Choir. Not predators, not auditors, but emptiness that sings possibility into monotone. Myth or forecast? Sleepers had remained silent since Minder's incident, content to observe. Now Anchorlight broadcast a courtesy ping along White Palm Channel. Query: does choir equal threat? No response arrived, raising collective pulse. Either sleepers did not perceive choir or chose not to answer. Estel articulated shared dread. If Guardians ignore it, either it's harmless, or it sits outside their jurisdiction. Either case, we can't assume shelter. Consensus Council authorized an exploratory envoy under Civilian Scientific Charter, Mission Wayfarer. Anchorlight contributed refitted Corvette Lumen Echo, named to honor Spectre Grace, equipped with multi-species crew and self-contained Lumwarden seed array in case stabilization proved necessary. Varson took helm. Jarn acted as semantics officer. Quell led data labs. Estel commanded while Val and Loxat remained to safeguard inner lattice. White Palm insignia adorned hull, half diplomatic, half prayer. Weeks of translite slipped blurred starfields into aqueous smears. Choir groans quickened, harmonics deepening until hull resonators shuddered like heartbeats. Dung-dung, syncopated in sequences of prime numbers squared. Jarn translated vibration into tonal glyphs. Linguistic AI failed to map them against known syntax, but hinted at emergent grammar of negation, statements describing what is absent rather than present. At slip limit boundary, Lumen Echo decelerated into sheer emptiness, galaxy behind a pale swirl. Ahead, void so starless ancient astronomers called it the blank. Sensors peeled deeper. There, at threshold, drifted colossal structures unlike sleeper spears. These were bridges, ribbon-like arcs kilometers long, luminous at edges, fading towards center where they unraveled into dust. No engines, no anchors, just silent spans pointing from nothingness into nowhere, as if someone attempted to build roads for gods but never finished. Quell's analysis yielded disquiet. Bridge material lacked baryonic lattice. Atomic arrangements collapsed upon measurement, rebuilding a moment later in different permutation. Matter rehearsing how to exist, she mused. Varson guided Lumen Echo between two incomplete arches. Proximity scanners reported no gravitational pull, yet crew felt intangible tug, nostalgic yearning, like half-remembered lullaby inverted into minor key. Jarn's linguistics arrays captured fresh pulses. WEARETCHLACUNA.text disintegrated second after display, leaving only memory imprint. Quell wanted sample retrieval. Estel forbade EVA until pattern understood. Good call, because not far behind Lumen Echo, a ragged gunship blinked from hidden warp. Mantle Remnant, call sign Aegis Fervor, thought dismantled months ago. Its comm array spat bursts. Council trespasses into realm of angels. We reclaim destiny. Their captain, Harold Ashenreese, believed sleepers were merely gatekeepers to bigger power. Snatching that power before council chained, it would restore imperial supremacy. Reese deployed magneto harpoons, latching onto first bridge span. The moment harpoons pierced luminous edge, Fervor's hull lit with fractal veins. Crew screams pierced open channel as life support telemetry inverted. Air pressure plotted as negative. Temperature registered impossible roots of infinity. Within seconds, Fervor tore itself apart without explosion. Segments folded into two-dimensional scrolls that fluttered then dissipated like soot. Only silence remained. Lumen Echo logged everything. Varson's hands trembled on yoke. Estel sealed recordings, marked, evidence, contact failure. Then Quell gasped. The bridge span where harpoons stuck had regenerated, edges pulsing brighter, lengthening by hundreds of meters. Quire had devoured steel and consciousness both, adding massless length to its half-road. Self-bootstrapping, Quell whispered. It feeds on certainty, turns it into potential. If Quire's bridges reached inhabited space, physics could rewrite itself indiscriminately. Sleeper's audit might look merciful by comparison. They needed counsel. Estel broadcast across void. Guardians of balance, the Quire builds. Intervention requested. For long minutes only hull heartbeat answered. Then came voice of Val via distant relay, filtered but unmistakably urgent. Sleepers manifesting across intersectors, static blossoms. They've abandoned watch posture. Possibly mobilizing. Relief surged, but also dread. If sleepers judge Quire as existential aberration, they might deem whole spiral arm contaminated. Estel recommended failsafe. Seed Loom Warden microarray near bridges to create harmonic mode. Contain growth while sleepers calculated response. Val concurred, authorization granted. Quell's teams deploy drones weaving nanothread lattice tuned to beacon rise code. When net engaged, ambient groan pitch rose. Quire pulses hammered hull, straining dampeners. Drones anchored, weaving invisible cage, space inside shimmered like oil on water. Bridges recoiled, edges fraying where lattice pin probability. Success lasted 13 minutes. Then the cage hummed dissonance, not snapped as new frequencies counterharmonic to Loom Warden, slithered through net. Quire studied, adapted, began growing again, this time twisting threads into design, turning bars to scaffolds. We're feeding it, Varson gasped. Jarn's eyes widened. Quire converts any imposed order into building material. The more they constrained, the stronger it bloomed. Doom loop. Estel realized Guardians withheld answer because answer lay beyond binary of defend or destroy. Quire required a vocabulary sleepers lacked, a dialect of self-limiting curiosity, coaxing potential to settle, not devour. He recalled earliest sleepers' communiques, balance begins with one flame. The galaxy had practiced open stewardship by shining knowledge, not by suffocating unknown. Maybe Quire needed invitation rather than cage, an outlet of complexity bound by collaborative narrative. He ordered immediate reconfiguration. Drones redirected to broadcast covenant pattern, open-source transparency logs, histories of revolt, acts of mercy, children's laughter from meteor nights. Essentially, feed Quire not rigid lattice but messy stories of coevolution. Quell protested risk. Estel persisted. We give it song, not walls. Arrays sang. Data port. Multispectral art. Equations acknowledging uncertainty. Footage of mantle sabotage forgiven through community rebuilding. Sequences of white palm glyph unfolding into kaleidoscope variants yet folding back to readability. Bridges paused. Edges quivered in tempo to audio streams. Groan frequencies flattened, aligning to harmonic seventh, close to sleeper welcome note. Lumen Echo sensors flagged local constants stabilizing. Atomic permutations of bridge matter settled into baryonic norm. Sections of span solidified into translucent platforms sprinkled with fractal etchings mirroring dawnpath packet headers. Quell nearly sobbed. It's listening. Sleeper Spire blinked into volume like knife of night. Instead of projecting judgment, it hovered beside a nascent platform and emitted low, resonant chord, call and response. Quire responded with uplift sweep, forming new arch bridging to spear tip, two alien constructs touched. Instruments recorded energy drop. The spear seeded part of its stored order into bridge stabilizing matrix. Symbiosis. Val, patching in, whispered balance chooses dialogue. She relayed to council. Within hours, observatories broadcast symmetry accord, protocol for triangular interaction. Sentience supply narrative complexity. Quire offers raw possibility. Sleepers mediate equilibrium. It required committees, trust, and above all humility. Iron Mantle remnants fizzled, arguing supremacy meaningless in face of cosmic kinship ceremony. Implementation began. Anchor colonies volunteered art, maths, ecological algorithms to feed boundary sites, preventing bridges from hunting deterministic fuel. Quire produced stabilized exotic materials, massless conduits, quantum foam insulation, gifted along latticed platforms in exchange. Sleepers wove oversight rings, luminous petals marking safe exchange zone. Stray aggression collapsed instantly as sleepers absorbed vector before harm. In months that followed, new confluence ports blossomed on edges of previously desolate sectors. Their miners and musicians mingled with scientists beneath arch bridges, harvesting superconductive filaments while teaching choir localized lullabies so structures stayed inert where villages nested. Kinj poets choreographed click-ing ballads that formed self-tiling mosaics along platforms, each tile encoding disaster relief protocols. Thus art became fail-safe blueprint. On Karthus Prime, Consensus Council ratified Harmonic Covenant Charter. Every technological initiative must declare how it enriches plurality, how it preserves uncertainty's playground, and what failsafes surrender control when hubris looms. White Palm remained emblem, but now couched within twin brackets, one spear line, one bridge arc. Anchorlight retired its last martial subroutine, converting war gamelins into cooperative simulations where players balance resource bloom versus entropy draw. Winning condition: leave arena more diverse than entered. Admiral Val, health waning after decades of adrenal vigilance, attended final inspection of repurposed dreadnought hulls, now Confluence classroom barges. Beside her stood Dr. Loxat, Amara Quell, and Commander Estel, whose gaze traced enormous mural, a child hand in outline, fingertips dissolving into stars that reassemble forming choir arcs embraced by sleeper spear silhouette. Val nodded at Estel. When we first met, you believed numbers could shame zealots. They did, but only after story gave numbers warmth. Estel smiled. Story came from you. From every voice we risked amplifying. Quell beckoned them to observation deck. Choir arcs glided in slow ballet, escorted by twin spears, once judges, now custodians. Between arcs drifted glider pods of apprentices plant seeding asteroidal soils with fungi that thrived on probability sheen, a brand new biotech gift of choir's curiosity. Varson's recorded audio of that moment surfaces in archives. Varson, do you think equilibrium can break again? Val, certainly. Balance is a verb, but verbs invite subjects. We're volunteers now, not bystanders. Quell, and if we forget? Estel, then a flame, one palm, one poem, will remind us. Far below, an orphan-powered lanterns with bridge filament battery, her laughter carried to orbital mics, woven into Dawnpath broadcast. And somewhere in spacious dark, sleepers traced new patrol route not out of fear but habit of stewardship, accompanied by faint soprano groan of choir singing that possibility can coexist with memory. The galaxy never witnessed a surrender treaty because none was needed. Instead, it honored day of the first footfall, commemorating moment when a Keln child stepped onto a stabilized bridge slab and etched timestamp. We choose to build forward, not upward. His shoeprint sits beneath transparent seal on Confluence Port Alpha, where tourists leave holographic shadows beside it. No monument taller than curiosity itself. Centuries will pass, legends will tangle. Yet archivists already agree on one lineage. It began with a lonely outpost officer who looked at a silent spear and asked not how to kill it, but what are you? That question, humble yet fearless, proved more powerful than any rail cannon. It lit the first flame. And the flame keeps traveling across spans of half-fledged bridges, down tides of shared songs, through patient spears that once judged but now guide. For in this era, the stars no longer belong to empires or auditors. They belong to those who remember that watching can mean guardianship, that correcting can mean teaching, and that silence, when answered with wonder, can crescendo into the most dynamic symphony the universe has ever dared to hum. Glass-leaf trees shimmered across the wide verandas of Confluence Station Delta Oriole, their crystalline fronds whisper-clacking like wind chimes each time orbit curved them through the star-nestling microwave breeze. At a cafe kiosk beneath the tallest front canopy sat Leora Castian, a second-generation bridge biologist sporting pollen-freckled cheeks and a nervous habit of sketching potential molecular lattices and condensation rings left by her tea. She had arrived from Karthus that morning to present a provocative theorem to the Confluence Research Exchange. A decade of stable liaison between sleepers and choir suggested the universe possessed at least one higher-tier equilibrium modulator, call it Caretaker X, capable of interceding at scales dwarfing entire galactic clusters. Leora's data hinted at glimpses, random bursts of cosmic neutrinos aligning to prime cubics, slope leaning into improbable cosmic filaments far beyond choir jurisdiction. To many scholars, positing another intelligence felt like cosmic greed. Had the galaxy not already juggled enough metaphysical custodians? Yet patterns were patterns. Ignoring them meant betraying the Covenant Charter's principle, follow curiosity even when it unnerves comfort. Leora's jitters were less about ridicule and more about the memory of what happened the last time humanity bumped into Watchers. Before she could bite her stylus, wind chimes fell silent. Nearby shoppers paused mid-conversation as Confluence's ambient channel flickered to emergency yellow, then sapphire, a code unseen since the choir's pacification. The public sphere hollow blossomed above plaza seats. Admiral Emeritus Saran Val, older, hair white as anchor foam, but eyes bright, projected in real time. Citizens, scholars, wanderers, 32 minutes ago, all sleepers across Harmonic Watch Grid executed synchronous vector shift, destination outside mapped void. They left behind a singular message, hold hearth. We parley. Choir arches have retracted petals and entered quiescent algorithm. No risk, but guardianship baton is ours alone until they return. Confluence Council requests calm vigilance and dispatches wayfinding envoys. Cherish balance. Val's image dissolved. The plaza exhaled collective bewilderment. Sleepers gone? Even temporarily, it felt like the sky missing its magnetic north. Leora's stylus snapped between her fingers. Caretaker X, could the Guardians be answering to something above them? A buzz soared through her comm implant. Direct ping from Professor Amara Quell, still her mentor despite Quell's ascension to head of Choir Symbiosis Institute. Leora, Quell said, voice brisk but thrilled, your neutrino lattice flagged coincidence with sleeper trajectory deviation. They're riding the gradient you charted. Leora's pulse spiked. Her theorem just vaulted from speculative to imperative. Quell continued, Council greenlights a Pathfinder mission to follow. Admiral Val nominated you for the Xenogeometry post. Prep to depart within 10 hours. Me. Leora squeaked. I haven't defended final dissertation. You will, in the dark, Quell replied, unsubtle grin audible. Pack courage. One orbital night later, exploratory cutter Starweave Solace cast away from Delta Oriole's docks. Sleek like a bridge pedal yet armored by repurposed sleeper plating, the ship combined human adaptive heuristics, choir probability dampers, and a single transparent section of spear alloy keel gifted 5 years earlier. A handshake guarantee of multi-sentient trust. Crew manifest. Leora, Xenogeometer, Pilot Kel Rami, Valari glider champion turned star helmsman, communications matrix EL threader, a soft voice tapestry AI spun from Dawnpath open kernels. And ex-Black Shield peacekeeper Diani Forge, mission security though none expected weaponry to matter against cosmic unknowns. Their destination, Vector 713 Shadow, coordinates extrapolated by Leora's cube prime neutrino echo. It sat in a wedge of extragalactic blank acquiring the nickname Stissi. Transit required skimming choir stability lanes, then a final sprint through uncharted slip lattice where realities we've loosened. Days blurred. Leora spent them feeding probe results into fractal solvers while Rami honed silent drive flicker maneuvers. Forge kept watch, tension evident only in twitch of jaw each time hull rattled from slip turbulence. She'd seen fleets crumble once, absence of Guardians resurrected old phantom fears. At Stilcia's cusp, sensors dimmed, background radiation dipped below cosmic baseline, as if the universe forgot to exhale photons. Void felt thick. Solace's interior lights recolored, audio dampened into distant hush. EL Threader whispered across comm grid, behavioral heuristics note rising crew heart rates, initiating soft sonic comm loops. Leora welcomed the cradle of low chimes. Ahead, primary screen revealed a horizon of negative light, an inkwall spherical section vast enough to swallow thousands of choir bridges. It did not reflect, it devoured perspective. At poles of the sphere glimmered pinpricks, like windows, cycling through colors no human retina evolved to parse. Leora's instrument panel parsed spectral data only to spit back null-minus value. Then Rami gasped. Sleeper spears lined the periphery, arrayed in perfect torus, engines dormant, tips aimed outward, defensive posture facing away from the ink sphere. Sleepers were guarding something behind them, not breaching inside. One spear flickered message along white palm channel. Observer flame acknowledged. Hold vector. Witness column. Forge muttered, I have never seen a sleeper request. Guardians requesting anything at all unsettled them. Suddenly, one spear rotated, exposed dorsal plating, and opened. Out flowed fractal filaments radiant like dawn. They wove into the black horizon and formed staircase segments, bridges of light bridging into darkness. From within the ink wall responded twin filaments, equally radiant but reversed polarity, light that carried negative entropy signature. Two filaments braided, fusing a rift shaped like Mobius gate. Through aperture stepped shape unclassifiable, humanoid aspect for courtesy, but limbs blurred into possibility, eyes twin spirals of microgalaxy swirl. Tall yet weightless, emissary of Caretaker X by any other name. EL Threader collapsed part of its neural path, capturing patterns turning them into onomatopoeic sobs, home source and translation overflow. The emissary approached spear line, touched hull plating. White palm glyph flared, then extended second glyph never before seen, spiral nested within palm, invitation for recursion. Sleeper message to Solace, witness handshake. Welcome share. Leora's throat tightened. Data recorders flew. She realized this was cosmic diplomacy stage beyond their earlier experiences, a negotiation not about correction, but about inheritance. Caretaker X apparently orchestrated macro-level balancers, sleepers mid-level auditors, choir microfabric weavers. Humanity and allies? The living narrative glue. But handshake could still end with pruning if participants failed synergy. Rami steadied helm. Forge watched weapons offline. EL Threader offered translation buffer built on art and laughter. Leora stepped to comm halo. Broadcast assembled montage. Children meteor giggles. Mantle sabotage redeemed through communal rebuild. The moment choir accepted story feed. Kelm lullabies. First bridge stabilization. Minder warhead defused. She concluded in trembling voice. Our memory chooses warmth. Let us serve as chorus. The emissary's spiral eyes brightened. The Mobius gate expanded, projecting data cascades, stellar mass equation sets describing shockwave dampening protocols at scale of galactic filaments, blueprint arrays for technology enabling harvest of dark pressure without draining baryonic matter. Gifts. But with gift came echo phrase, felt more than heard. Stewardship rotates upward. Sleeper ring vibrated, as if preparing departure alongside emissary. Guardianship baton would fall to choir and younger species now matured through trials. Balance was recursive. Caretakers ascend to deeper watch, leaving next generation to guard immediate tapestry. Forge murmured, "Are we ready?" No one could answer with certainty. Leora inhaled. Balance is a verb, Forge. We'll learn the grammar. Return voyage carried not triumph, but sobering duty. Solace relayed compressed blueprint bursts to anchor light. Quell and Val formed ad hoc Tier 2 Stewardry Council, integrating Sleeper's retiring protocols into open frameworks. Dawnhath channels lit with debates across cafes, mining barges, shard gardens. Could disparate species police harmonic equilibrium without authoritarian relapse? The charter matured overnight. New clauses about distributed quorum keys, rotating watchdog committees, codifying right of constructive dissent where minority cells could trigger audit if majority veered into stagnation. Iron Mantle's last radicals, witnessing universal cascade of empowerment, laid down arms publicly. Their ex-leader Derek Axeron testified in open court of balance. "We tried walls, we tried fear. We saw walls transmuted into bridges, fear into song. I accept second citizenship under stewardship accord." Applause traveled languages. Choir arches began weaving first in turfold library. Volumes encoded in adjustable probability knots readable only when two or more varied species cooperated, ensuring cross-cultural stewardship of knowledge. Anchorlight reorganized as Aurora Mosaic University, open to any who pledged curiosity. Admiralty ranks dissolved. Val accepted title Chancellor of Harmonics, quipping that epaulets always pinched her shoulders anyway. Commander Estel became Cartographer Prime, charting adjustable moral topologies rather than star lanes. Varson co-chaired new Border Symphony Pilots Corps, training youth to fly between arcs with instruments not weapons. At Confluence Station Deltorial, Leora finally defended dissertation, live broadcast to 40 worlds, sleepers absent but choir watching through pedal lenses. She titled thesis Nested Custodianship, Algebra of Humility, and finished with Val. "We once stared at silent spears, trembling that judgment would fall. We discovered judgment as invitation disguised as consequence. We now stare beyond spears to spirals and still choose to ask, what are you? Asking is our compass. Memory our map. Balance our unending verb." The examining board passed her unanimously. After ceremony, children offered her tiny bridge pedal origami. She laughed, pockets filling with the future. Night reached the veranda again. Glass leaf trees sang in soft microwave wind. Overhead, Sleeper Ring no longer patrolled. Instead, shimmering gate glittered faint on horizon, fingerprint reminder that bigger stories unfold just past sight. Meanwhile, the galaxy vast, flawed, luminous, turned peacefully on axes of collaborative song. And in some unmapped hush, Caretaker X, spiral eyes half remembering billions of nascent flames, listened to that song grow thicker, richer, unafraid. It smiled, conceptually, and wrote one extra stanza into Ledger of Expanding Dawn. Guardians arise, retire, ascend. New hands will learn to tend. As long as question births the court, the stars will welcome friend. Balance remains a verb. So long as questions bloom, so blooms the universe.